This is Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance in San Diego. Glad to have Jose Cruz with us now. He is the executive director of the Barrio Logan College Institute. Before we talk about BLCI, I want to talk about Barrio Logan. For those of us that don't live or know San Diego County well, what is Barrio Logan?
Barrio Logan is a rich community, not in terms of wealth, right?
Well stated,
but, rich in terms of culture. So it's right under the Coronado Bridge. It's where all those murals are, those beautiful murals that really tell a story of the community. But unfortunately, it's a poverty-stricken community. So the average family of 4 survives on less than $25,000 a year, which is associated with low educational attainment. So only 1 in 3 adults in Barrio Logan has a high school education, let alone a college degree. 3%.
That number is deafening.
It is.
It's hard to even hear.
Exactly.
And while we've talked about the fact that not everyone needs to go to college, some people, college is not appropriate. 3%, something's up.
Something's wrong, right. And then with poverty, of course, you have a host of other issues, right? Crime rates are up. Now, the good thing is that there's been some investment in the community, but those education statistics haven't changed much.
And I want to talk about the stereotypes of folks that may live in Barrio Logan. I know there's a large Latino community there. And the reality is, and you were looking at this when you went to college, that there are these unconscious stereotypes of Latinos that kind of affect their push, drive, desire to attend university. Is that a fair way to say it?
Right. Yeah. So this is just, it's a matter of role models, right? So when you see people who look like you as university professors or as leaders in the community or as business owners, then you start thinking that that's a possibility for you. But when you see people that look like you associated with maybe careers that are not bringing in a certain level of income that you need to live in San Diego, then you start thinking that that's your future. So what we're doing at Barrio Logan College Institute is breaking that.
And so
everyone's going to college.
Let's talk about that, because you are you're that role model. You're first generation, and you went to San Diego State, and then you went to Harvard University. That's quite an accomplishment for anyone, let alone someone whose parents did not go to college, or grandparents or great-grandparents. You know, how has your experience informed you to become now the executive director of BLCI?
Well, that's a great question. Actually, I was the only one, not only of my family, but of my friends to go to college. I grew up in City Heights, also a low-income community, single-parent home on government assistance. And I realized when I was at San Diego State that none of my friends followed me, and that our world was worlds were changing, right? So they were thinking more about survival. They needed a job just so that they can pay the bills. Now they're having kids.
But how did you get to San Diego State?
I got to San Diego State because people believed in me when I did not believe in myself. So I wasn't, an excellent student all the way through school.
But still, San Diego State, I mean, in the olden days, when I went to college, San Diego State was...
it's accessible.
It's not so accessible anymore, so you must have done something right to get into SDSU.
Well, thankfully, we have guaranteed admission now to San Diego State through Barrio Logan College Institute. But yeah, no, at that time it was a little bit more accessible. But I went in because my counselor in high school actually believed in me and said, you should go to college. And I was like, well, okay, well, what is that? Where'd you go to college? She goes, I went to San Diego State. I was like, okay, well, then I guess that's what I'm going to do.
It's funny you say that, because I mentioned this to you. My father is first generation, and he got into 2 universities. He got into Columbia, an Ivy League school, and Brooklyn College of Pharmacy. Where did he go? Brooklyn College of Pharmacy, because his cousin went. And you go to San Diego State,
Yeah, exactly.
You went to San Diego State because it all works out. But it's so much about what's happening in the family. And part of Barrio Logan, the Institute, I should say, is not just working with the students, but working with the families.
The whole family. So parents have to do 30 hours a year to have their kids there. And we even help the parents go back to school themselves so that they're setting the example and actually creating a situation where they're more financially stable at home, because we want the kids to focus on a college education. Oftentimes the types of students that we work with, when they're the first in their family to go to college, they're not bringing money into the home.
And let's talk about that, because we were speaking with one of our colleagues before, and he was saying that when his mother was looking looking at college. The father, absolutely not. You need to be here on the farm helping us make money.
Exactly.
It costs a lot of money to go to San Diego State, $7,000 just for tuition. UCSD, $12,000, $13,000. I mean, and that doesn't include food and room and board and books and.
Exactly.
And so talk us through how you help your family, your metaphoric families.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. So we start early. We start in 3rd grade preparing these kids to be the first in their families to go to college. And the parents are involved too, right? So from 3rd grade through 12th grade, when they need to make that decision, that's 10 years with us, right? So that's enough time for us to sort of break those myths and help them understand the investment that a college education is for their family, not only now, but in the long term, for their children, their grandchildren, and their children's children. So once they get to that 12th grade mark and they have to make those decisions, by then the parents are bought into this idea that it's a good investment.
Why do you believe that education in the end becomes the great equalizer? Absolutely. What is it about education that you believe equalizes the playing field?
Absolutely. So I grew up in City Heights, and when I was in City Heights, there were things in the community. I was afraid to go outside and play. I witnessed some things that I probably, should not have witnessed as a young man. And I thought for a large portion of my life that that's the way the world was, right? That the world happened to me.
Right.
And when I got to college, I realized that I can happen to the world, right? I learned more about myself. I learned about the world that I lived in. And it was such a transformational experience. And that to me is what a college education does. It doesn't only set us up economically to be in a better situation, but it also sets us up to exercise our voice and to realize that we can be agents of change, that we can really feed into this idea that we call democracy.
So let's talk about being an agent of change, because look, you have a degree from San Diego State, you have a degree from Harvard University. Not that money is the driver of all decisions, but presumably you could be off in a different position, maybe in private industry, making a pretty good darn living. But you chose to take a different path.
Absolutely.
Why?
When I was the only one in my family to go to college and of my friends to go, and realized that as I was thinking about what my life would be, and their conversations were more about survival, I realized I wanted more people. I felt alone, actually, to tell you the truth.
I understand.
And I didn't want to feel alone anymore. I wanted this to be the norm for the community. And so, yes, I probably could have chosen another path and been making a lot more money, but I chose a meaningful life. I really wanted my life, at the end of the day, to mean something. And that's what we teach our students.
Right, and you've been honored for that. You received the National Trio Achiever Award. What does that mean?
So the TRIO programs are federally funded programs to help minority and low-income students be the first in their families to go to college and achieve. So I went through some of those programs, and actually that's what propelled me to go on to Harvard University. And so throughout the nation, they look at graduates of that program that have made significant impacts in whatever field that they're in. And they chose me last year as a TRIO Achiever, and I was very honored to receive that award.
How can we get involved in Barrio Logan College Institute?
Excellent, great question. So you can champion, you can invite, and you can invest. So champion, so if you like what we're doing and if you've connected with us, please tell others about what we're doing. We're really looking at ways in which we can bring our model to other communities, not only throughout San Diego, but throughout California.
Got it.
Invite people down. We love giving tours. And we'll show you from elementary school through college what that experience is like. And then finally invest. And of course, we're looking for people's, their time, their talent, and their treasure. And there's plenty of opportunities to find something that you connect with.
His name is Jose Cruz. He's the executive director of the Barrio Logan College Institute. My name is Brad Pomerance in San Diego, local edition.